Welcome back. This is a Sarah Boone letter that kind of goes under the radar, but this is a letter she sent to her divorce court. I'm not really sure what it's called, family court. This is the letter she sent to the family court judge because Brian has not been paying alimony. She's broke. She's mad. And he filed for a dissolution of alimony, being like, she's in jail. I don't need to pay for her life anymore. And she's complaining, being like, he still needs to pay me alimony, which technically, I didn't know this, but you do have to keep paying alimony even if your spouse or ex-spouse goes to jail, prison, whatever, unless you do what Brian's trying to do and file a motion to cut that off. And even though this is in a completely different case, she still acts the same way. So is everyone in the court systems terrible? Is the criminal court out to get her? Is family court out to get her? Or is it maybe her? And I know now this case has been sealed more or less, so there aren't any other updates, but there's some videos done out already about this, so I took some screenshots and kind of had to like cut it together to read this letter. But yeah, let's get into it. I will try to reserve my comments for the end. I have also included a letter from a legal resource that she reached out to that basically rejected her services, but she underlined a line in there that she thought was a serve, and it was just funny because it absolutely was not. And I also put the judge's order. So she wants to have a conference meeting, and this is the order from the judge after that meeting, and the judge throws shade, and I love it. And I have a little thing at the very end just to compare and contrast what she says she's facing versus what he said he faced with her. Judge Michael Dean, in all my attempts, 16 plus, to protect myself and help from the still ongoing hate, lies, slander, degradation, cruelty, and active abuse from former husband, Brian C. Boone, nothing has been improved, made better, corrected, relieved in any way for myself, the respondent, from former husband, the court, or judge. I have tried everything. I have made innumerable requests and sent many letters asking for aid from all with no success or assistance, listening, or care by anyone other than myself trying to relieve or altogether stop his inappropriateness, bitterness, anger, and wrongdoing. Please see list below of my letters sent to you and court per the Records Management Division of the Clerks of Courts when for the third time tried getting a copy of my active dissolution of marriage agreement. I cannot have because they are wanting payment in order to receive, and I am in jail. I also have no bank account after the one I had was closed after having for 30 years due to non-payment of alimony from former husband and stated in prior letters. It is appalling how uninterested, uncaring, and nonchalant you and the justice system are about my side in any of this, and will not listen without the right paperwork and attorney, knowing I am actively being taken advantage of and wrongfully mistreated by former husband Brian C. Boone. You have continuously enabled him and given him a self-appointed right and understanding to keep doing, saying, and taking everything wrongfully and illegally from me, including and especially the love and respect from my son. It is not okay. You're a killer. That's why I'm not doing anything. Former husband said in front of son on phone, you're not important to anyone. Former husband, numerous dates. You are not priority. Former husband, numerous dates. Dad says you're annoying and beg all the time. Son told me after asking him to ask former husband if he finally ordered a book and hot meal after being made to call daily to check for 13 weeks. I lie to you because I can. Dad does all the time. Son, you make no difference in our lives. Former husband, numerous dates. That's okay with you and acceptable, Judge Dean? Is that what you are giving him permission for and to keep doing and in front of my son? Why won't you stop any of his abuse? Verbal, mental, emotional. Why aren't you, as my judge, doing anything to hear, understand both sides? What else needs to be done to me by former husband in order for you to help me? What else can I do I have not done already for any relief on my side? Stop enabling. Judicially, you must know this is wrong in how I am being treated. I am told every time when trying to reduce any anguish or mistreatment from former husband and cooperate, trying to help, the judge doesn't care what you write. My son now says the same when I correct him on how he is being mean and rude to me. He's never going to do anything for you until your trial is over, and even then, it will still all be in my favor. My other document is ready to go, so I can take the rest. I have an attorney. You deserve nothing, you mean nothing. Then, former husband gets his precious attorney to file another answer denying allegations because I'm telling the truth all the time about his awful lies, and I am right. Judge Dean. So I have to continue taking former husband's abuse, neglect, unlawful actions, cruel comments, and hate until my trial, if when it happens. However long that will be, now considering my attorney has withdrawn from my case and no date of trial is known or will be for an undetermined amount of time. How much more hate and disrespect will former husband encourage my son to keep lying and overall being mean to me, his mother? Former husband is teaching and reflecting a terrible example of how women can and should be treated, nonetheless, the mother of his child. This is egregious and wrong. Please read my prior motion for case management hearing I sent 6/28/23 with no response to date. I am requesting again, please to schedule. It is fair, and there are too many topics to be discussed, including my attorney, to write, and I only have one pen. Necessary, lawful, active, important topics. What is the certified notice of delinquent support filed on 8/3/23? Please grant my motions and schedule my imperative, overdue, owed meeting. Everyone needs and must have the same understanding now and future. It is fair. What else can I do? What's left except for begging, which former husband says I do all the time? What am I doing wrong in order to be treated rightfully, properly, ethically correct in order to finally receive your judicial assistance? How I am and have been and will be treated by former husband Brian C. Boone is unfair, malicious, and wrong, and should not be in any way allowed to continue. Stop. Please see, please listen, please help. Judge Dean, what was the reason for your comment made in your courtroom about former husband violating my constitutional rights? If you're not going to help or uphold said rights and lawfully allow me to use, what's the point? Why do I even have? You know I do in order for you to remark and see they are being violated. 9/19/22. Please schedule. It is my right. It is fair. Sincerely, Sarah Boone. Please send a copy of this letter so I know it was received and will serve as my receipt. So we can see this is the exact same behavior that she has been showing throughout her entire criminal proceedings. This letter was unhinged, accusatory, and just overall insanity yet again. And this is all because Brian doesn't want to keep paying her alimony if she's in jail and not even taking care of their son. She does not need things paid for the way she used to. There's so much in this letter that just speaks exactly to her character. She is always the victim, no matter what happens. Brian is abusing her by not paying her. Brian is abusing her by not picking up her phone calls all the time. When she said she was made to call daily for 13 weeks because Brian wouldn't get her a hot meal and a book. Are you kidding me? And that's that kind of obsessive, needling behavior that you see time and time again. If she does not get what she wants, she will make sure that you can't ignore her. Bankowitz said that she called her 5 to 10 times a day. She called Brian every single day for 13 weeks because he didn't give her what she wanted. And so it's their fault. And she even said, I was made to call. No one forced you to do that. You did that of your own free will. You aren't entitled to a book and a hot meal from your ex husband just because y'all share a son. Crazy. From the very moment she got arrested, or actually from the very moment she killed him, she called Brian and tried to get him wrapped up into it. She constantly needs to have a savior, and she tried to get him to come in and save the day. And when he showed up and told her to call the police, I know she was shocked and upset because she wanted him to come in and save the day. No, you are not owed anything from anyone, no matter what you claim you deserve. You realize you are nothing to them. He flat out told you mean nothing to them. Y'all are not married. You both have a son together. That is your only connection. He does not have to care about you. He clearly does not care about you. And no, that is not a nice thing to hear, and I'm sure it doesn't feel great. But for everything that you've put both of them through, what do you expect? You keep trying to act like you're the victim because you killed your boyfriend, the boyfriend that you would use as an excuse not to pick up your son, not to do the things that you need to do to take care of him. So Brian had to already pick up the slack, and you were just the parent whenever you wanted to be a parent, allegedly, according to reports that we've seen and just eyewitnesses in general. She wants everyone to feel sorry for her. Well, this is the funny thing to me. She wants to criticize the criminal court and use condescending things, being like, why wasn't my letter uploaded properly? Why is no one following the proper procedure? Does anyone know how to do anything right? And then in this letter, she's mad because they want her to have the proper paperwork and to have to pay for things that she needs. Yes, you don't have money. This is a thing that all inmates have to deal with. You're in jail. You're not making money, and things still cost money. It's not unfair. It is just a reality of the situation. You're also not a victim here. You were in jail for murdering someone. Sorry if everyone doesn't want to stop their whole lives to make sure that you feel cared for, feel pampered, feel loved, appreciated, all that stuff. That's no one else's job. And he's not abusing you by not paying. He's trying to cut you off completely and to get you out of his life. And it's not abuse for someone to want to cut you off. So I'm just seeing more of the exact same behavior. It's always everyone else's fault. She never takes responsibility. He's the only one who's abusing her. She's the victim. She never does anything wrong. No one ever wants to do anything to help her. It's the same old song over and over. And what did she say George used to do all the time? Call wolf, the boy who called wolf. Sarah, you are the wolf who cried wolf. You are both the prey and the predator. And then she says she's correcting her son when he's mean to her. I feel so sorry for that son who's had to grow up just knowing what his mom is and what she's done, and to have that plastered and thrown in his face all the time. I hope he's never seen the interrogation. I mean, he's probably, what, 15 around that age now? So something tells me he probably has seen the interrogation. But when she swore on his life in that interrogation, I wanted to jump through my screen. I cannot stand it when someone swears on someone else's life, especially when it's a lie. That just makes no sense to me. It's not your life to swear on, so don't do it. Sorry, I'm rambling. And she always does stuff like this. Why did you say that my constitutional rights were being violated if you're not going to help me keep them or whatever? But she's not going to name which constitutional rights he was referring to because she doesn't actually know. He probably just mentioned that she did have a constitutional right, probably to alimony or something like that. And now she's just running with it of, you said he was violating my rights. That means he was violating all of my rights. Why aren't you going to do anything to stop this? And in one of her letters in her criminal court, she did write a draft motion. So she should know that she has to write an official motion. And when we get to the judge's response, he takes a little jab at that. Because imagine,
Imagine if judges didn't follow protocol and then tried to respond to letters like these, where you have to parse out what is she actually asking me to do from a legal capacity. No, you have to follow the rules and regulations, and you have to do it the right way. Then you will get an accurate response. When you do stuff like this and it's not a proper response, all you're going to get back is nothing. The fact that they just received it, and you're going to be mad at that because that's not taking action, but you're not asking in the proper way. So, next, I want to move on to this letter that she received from a legal support counsel that she was trying to obtain, and I thought it was pretty funny.
Dear Miss Boone, we have reviewed your letter requesting legal assistance. This letter is to inform you that the Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar Association, Incorporated, will not be able to assist you regarding family law matters. Our office receives hundreds of requests each month for free legal assistance. While we would like to help as many applicants as possible, due to limited staff and other resources, we are unable to assist everyone who contacts us. As a result, we have established case acceptance priorities to address the most pressing needs of our client community, and thus we do not accept matters that involve alimony or custody, time sharing on behalf of a parent who does not have the child residing with them for at least 50% of the time. Our consideration of your case was limited, and our decision not to provide legal representation to you does not mean that you do not have a good case or defense. You should be aware that the passage of time might prevent you from pursuing your claim of defense. We are not aware of any free legal services to assist you. We suggest you contact a private attorney of your choice or the attorney referral service. The attorney referral service is a service available through the Orange County Bar Association, and their phone number is blah, blah, blah. The attorney referral service provides the referral free of charge to an attorney who practices in your area of law. If you would like to obtain the services of an attorney to talk to, the attorney will charge you an hourly rate for her services to represent you in your case. Sincerely, Legal Aid Society of the OCBA, Incorporated.
So, yeah, that was just a letter from them saying, no, we do not represent broke people in jail. So, good luck. But I like that she underlined, quote, our decision not to provide legal representation to you does not mean that you do not have a good case or defense. You should be aware that the passage of time might prevent you from pursuing your claim or defense. That is just standard language they put in any of these kind of rejection letters. It's not them saying you actually have a good case, they're just saying you might not have a bad one. We're just saying that you don't have a bad case. We're not saying that you have a good case. And the passage of time, that is just like a standard thing. The more time that passes, the less likely you are to get what you want in certain cases. So it just made me laugh a lot that she thought that that was a serve. See, Your Honor, this legal society, they know that I have a great case and they know that I'm running out of time, and you are the only one holding me back. No, ma'am. So let's go to the judge's order, which gives a little insights on how he feels about things. And this happened after the conference that she complained about so many times in her letter that she wanted to have scheduled. Yay, it was scheduled. And this is what they said.
Order following case management conference. This cause, having come before the Court for Case Management Conference on October 16th, 2023, and the Court, having heard all parties present, finds and orders as follows. 1. Both parties appeared for the case management conference, which included a motion to withdraw by the respondent's counsel, Frank Bankowitz. 2. There were no objections to the withdrawal of respondent's counsel. 3. Frank Bankowitz is hereby removed as counsel for the respondent. 4. Council shall provide a more formal proposed order for this removal to be signed by the court within 10 days. 5. The case management conference discussed the status of the case, including the petitioner's requests for a reduction or elimination of alimony and for relocation. 6. The respondent is currently incarcerated in Orange County Jail pending trial on a charge of second-degree murder. 7. The court cannot hear the respondent's motion for contempt regarding unpaid alimony until after a final hearing is held on the respondent's petition for reduction or elimination of alimony. See Rosenblum v. Rosenblum, which reversed a trial court's contempt order because it was issued before the modification action was heard. 8. The respondent expressed frustration at not having matters heard and not being adequately informed about her case. 9. The court explained that the family case is on hold pending the outcome of the respondent's criminal case. 10. The court finds that permanent decisions regarding relocation and alimony should be postponed until the adjudication of the respondent's criminal case, so that circumstances are clearer. 11. The respondent was informed that she may opt for a final hearing on the petitioner's petition for alimony reduction elimination and her own contempt motion, but that the court would have to consider her current status of incarceration when making determinations. 12. The respondent was advised to ensure that any motions filed conform to the Florida Family Rules of Procedure and the Florida Rules of General Practice and Judicial Administration. This includes utilizing proper captions, titles, and certificates of service. Ordered in Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 16th day of October, 2023.
Love that little shade at the end by the judge, saying, if you want me to do something, actually submit it the right way. A lot of times, if you submit motions incorrectly, they'll just throw that away. No one has time to try to decipher what you're trying to say. But I also love the shade of, you can try to push this forward. If you want me to make a decision on this case now, that means I will have to use your current status as an incarcerated individual on trial for second-degree murder when making my decisions. Or you can learn some patience and sit your ass down and wait for your criminal case to be done. And if you're lucky enough to somehow get away with murder, then we can revisit this conversation and it would work out in your favor. If you're let back out into the real world, then probably you will be able to keep your alimony. But if you go to jail for the rest of your life because of second-degree murder, something tells me he's not going to grant further alimony, or at least heavily reduce it. Okay, and this little last part that I have is just a little video compilation of what Brian said to the detectives on the day of the incident at the crime scene. So he revealed, just answering standard questions honestly, revealed her own abusive behaviors, which then were echoed in what was found to have happened to George. Because Brian didn't observe the body, at least not long enough to be able to say what injuries he had. So the fact that they both have similar injuries would speak and lead credence to the fact that she is a physically and violently abusive person.
What can you tell me about her?
I don't. She's generally not. She can get a bit violent when she drinks. That was part of it.
And you said when she drinks that she can get physically aggressive.
She can. I mean, she did it to me a lot, where she'd hit me and stuff like that. I mean, she's tiny.
What do you mean hit though?
She punched me. I mean, more arms. She many times would use her claws. I mean, I had scratches on my neck at times, on my arms. I mean.
And we were informed of some injuries that he has. So he's got scratch marks to his back.
I know what that's from.
Okay. Because there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on like the back of his neck, like kind of like going, but it's like going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
Things like that where she'd dig with her claws.
Okay.
I never got that drunk, and I had restraint. I never touched her back. I think George didn't have that restraint, and at times he would hurt her back. So for all I know, all the times he got arrested, she started it. I don't know. I wasn't there, so. But I know she could get violent at times.
Okay. So you technically have him more than she does. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, that's why I said I was going
to. So even though that's how it's supposed to be, you still have him.
Yeah, it's not a good day. George is in a bad mood, or whatever else reason. I think sometimes just she wants to stay up and drink and can't really do that. She's got to wake up and take him to school the next day.
Right.
I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever, or if it's a weekend, that's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. I don't think you all understand who I am.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son. Okay. I excel at everything.
Any number of different reasons, so.
Sarah would rarely see him. Sometimes, when it was her turn to pick up from school, she would simply not show up, leaving the boy waiting for hours until the school would contact his father.
So why is it you all think that y'all don't know me, you don't know me,
Nope.
would do something like that, especially having a 9-year-old son?
Other times, she would pick him up and, according to her own landlord, she would leave him unattended, running around her apartment complex without any sort of supervision. Worse still, she would cut visits short, calling Brian after a couple of hours to pick up their son, saying she wanted to go out drinking and didn't want him around. But
I promise you, on my son's life, it was not intentional. I promise you, on my life, it was not intentional.
I don't know you. I can't say I know anything about you. I don't know what would be a true statement, what would not. I mean, you're promising on your son's life, that's fine.
That's how much it means.
Sorry.
That's how much it, look, that's how much it means.
Okay.
I hope you take that to heart. Please.
Maybe if you took George's pleas to heart, you would not be charged with second-degree depraved heart murder. Anyway, that was another Sarah Boone letter for a different court case, but the same song of abuse and victimhood. I will definitely be interested to see the comments on this one, so comment, like, subscribe, or dislike, however you're feeling. Until next time.